1460 WVOX.
Stay tuned now for the Racing for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
Hey, Race for Heroes fans, it's Brett Morash. It is February 4th, 2022, and we are here on 1460 AM or worldwide WVOX.com. Race for Heroes, we're kicking off a great week for next week. We have our Motorsports Therapy Week down in Danville, so if you're a veteran out there and you get some time from Monday through the following Sunday, come on down to our headquarters, help us work on the cars and get them going, have some camaraderie, hang out with everybody, and it'll just be a great time. We just finished up New York Boat Week up here in New York, and in light of that, I reached out to my good friend Mike Movinsky, who will be on the show here in a second, along with Bert Henderson. They both work on hydroplane racing boats. Mike owns a federal contracting company and is committed to hiring veterans. So he's just great guys. So, gentlemen, are you on the line?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, hold on. I think my headset might be down. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
That's a heck of
Yep, we hear you.
All right, that's better. Hey, so guys, I'm so excited about this year. You got a brand new hydroplane boat that's getting ready to go in the water. And for those of you on Race for Heroes Land, please check out our website. We have a picture of Mike's boat that's coming up. I think the only thing that was missing was a Race for Heroes sticker, Mike. So we'll have to work on that.
It'll be on there, I promise.
So tell us about your boat. This actually is a change from the past.
Yeah, I had a G&H 7-liter last year, and sold that. Wasn't in the market for a GP till it landed in my lap, and I've made some business decisions where it's landed in my lap. You don't know what to do, but know the offer's good. So I went and I purchased the GP, and we're winging it right now. I got a lot to learn, but it is a bigger boat. It is a faster boat. It is a more professional series, I believe. And so I'm looking forward to what the rest of the summer is going to bring.
It's amazing. And it sounds like where is the boat now? Is it in Tidewater?
It's in Baltimore, Maryland right now in storage. And then hopefully the first right after Daytona, I hope I'm going to go pick it up, drive it straight to Bert Henderson's shop and let him work on it and do his magic.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so now within the boat racing world, as a kid growing up, I remember Miss Atlas, and I remember when they had the terrible crash, and I was at the boat show last week, and unfortunately Miss Geico didn't show up. That's ocean racing, right? Is there a big difference in those boats and your boat?
Yeah, that's offshore racing, but Bert's driven unlimited. He's pretty much driven every class. It's probably better to ask him the difference between the two.
Yeah, Bert?
Well, it's like NASCAR on water. It's circle track racing on water. The big difference, between, obviously cars and boats, the conditions on the water are forever changing. So, I mean, you got to be cognizant of the water conditions, the competitors around you, and, kind of what to expect, and reading the water and knowing what is going to come forward. It's pretty challenging, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, because these boats can get up there like, I think you wrote in your note to me that a good engine can reach a 1460 horsepower. I mean, that's real horsepower.
Well, the power to weight ratio is phenomenal. Like in the American Series, the minimum weight is 2,700 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking a 2,700 pound boat to 1,460 horsepower and, almost matching foot-pounds of torque, the acceleration of these boats, it's like a drag racing engine, circle track racing. So it's, you'll do on a timing run or a start, you'll do, 40 miles an hour to 150 miles an hour in about 4.5 to 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty cool.
That's incredible. And that's not the unlimited boat you're talking about. That's like the boat that Mike's racing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the Grand Prix class is the biggest automotive powered class there is in hydroplane racing. The unlimited, they run a turbine primarily. There's one team that runs an Allison World War II fighter jet motor or fighter pilot.
Right. It's like a Merlin or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So then, but primarily, you know, like all of the unlimited class hydros run a T55 like Coleman jet engine.
Oh yeah,
And
like,
that's
like the
I
Huey
drive.
helicopter.
Yep.
Same engine.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Same
amazing.
engine. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about these boats though, because I mean, it sounds like that racing is national in nature. So how does the circuit sort of work for you all?
Bert, you can explain that one.
There's two series that we'll be racing in. There's it's the Hydroplane Racing League series, and that's where the Valleyfield Regatta. That's what, you know, we're obviously going to be, you know, trying to go after that title, which is like the Daytona 500 of boat racing. And then so they'll race in Cambridge, Maryland, Valleyfield, Quebec, Detroit. You know, there's a whole bunch of races there, and then the Grand Prix America series. They start off in Guntersville, Alabama. You know, we go to Madison, Indiana, Owensboro, Kentucky, San Diego, California. Like there's, you know, it's all over the U.S. like Seattle, Washington, Tri-Cities. So it really, truly is an international sort of flavor. There's going to be a couple of teams coming from New Zealand to race the series.
Oh wow!
So there'd be some Canadian teams, some U.S. teams. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we can catch some of this on MAV TV or something like that as well.
I know that there's a pretty good, you know, presence online. You know, they both series do quite a good job. I know the H1 Unlimited series has a YouTube channel, and they kind of the Grand Prix America piggybacks off the H1 series too. So it's an awesome series, an awesome sport. You know, the camaraderie amongst all the teams. You know, you'll get guys that'll, you know, from other teams if you're having a problem to make sure that they beat you on the water, not off the water.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think that goes with a lot of the racing that we talked about here on Racing for Heroes Radio, especially like the dirt track racing. It seems like there's that same sense of camaraderie and, you know, people willing to lend a hand. And then, but, you know, on the course, it's racing, you know, and I appreciate that greatly. So one of the questions that came up this morning on the morning show when I was kind of briefing them on this is about kind of crashes that occur in hydro racing. And of course, you know, there's no barriers or anything like that except for the water, and that's hard when you're hitting it that fast. How do you get out of a wreck that's like upside down? Like, how does that work?
Bert,
I've been there a few times. So it's never fun. It's never fun. You know, in these boats, they have an escape hatch at the bottom of the boat. So if you're upside down,
it's the top of the boat. Right?
Yeah, so that's the top of the boat. And, you know, we go through capsule training every 2 years where they simulate an accident.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to get out with doing all the correct steps in order to be qualified to be able to drive for that season. So, but it's disorienting, but you know, it's amazing when, you know, your mind, you don't panic and, you know, you do the right steps, you know, going through the training in your mind. But, you know, it's hard sometimes it's hard, but I mean, you know, with the course always changing and then expecting that your competitors are going to, you know, stay in their lane and follow, you know, the proper procedures of going through a corner and going down straightaways, you know, with the big rooster tails and all that stuff. So it's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And do you guys have like a little James Bond breathing device that you have that, you know, lets you get out of there for a little bit, or is it you hold your breath and you work your way out quick?
No, it's mandatory that we wear have oxygen. So like if you see like on, you know, Days of Thunder, you know, where the fighter jets have the air masks, we have the same air masks.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we have tanks on board, you know, that will last us, you know, in excess of 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
While underwater. So
that's amazing. Yeah, and like I said, when I was a little kid, I got to meet the driver of Miss Atlas, and I'm kind of flaking what his name was, but he died like the following year. So I know it's a dangerous sport. You know, I think Mike had mentioned on the last time he was on that like when those boats are at full speed, only 2 propeller blades are touching the water at any given time. It's that fast.
Yeah. The idea of a hydroplane, a 3-point hydroplane, you've got 3 points. You got propeller and the 2 sponsons, and if it's set up properly, the only thing touching the water, the propeller blades, rudder, and skid fin.
That's
the rest of the boat, you know, is out of the water.
That's amazing. And so let's just shift back gears here a little bit. Your first race is coming up is it April? Or am I going to read that wrong?
No, I think our first rate, and Bert can confirm me on this, is Cambridge, Maryland.
Cambridge.
It's the HRL series, and that should be either in May or June, and then we start from there.
Oh, okay.
So weekend before Memorial Day.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hopefully I'll have a chance to go see you guys, especially if it's in Maryland.
Yeah,
that's
that's an awesome race course.
Yeah, and where do they hold that in Baltimore Inner Harbor? Is that where that is?
Bert,
It's essentially on the eastern shore of it's across the Chesapeake. So it's it's right in the Chesapeake. It's called the Chop Tank.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
but it's obviously with being on the eastern shore, they have a great big crab feed there. It's the hospitality there is phenomenal, and it's just a really good small American town.
Well, listen, if it's the weekend before Memorial Day, I'm there, because Memorial Day we're going to be out in Missouri at Lucas Oil Speedway, which also has a boat racing out there, but not the type I think you guys are doing. Obviously, those are smaller boats.
Yep, exactly.
Which those guys are on MAV TV. I saw them the other day, and I never quite understood how they do that race, but they have to like hold like a rope, and then they're able to take off, and they have to like keep the boat within a certain like speed. It's kind of strange, but not what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys are opening up all the way. All right. So if anyone's interested, where would they go in order to kind of see about what you guys are doing?
You can go on online. You can YouTube all sorts of videos. Grand Prix hydroplanes, H1 Unlimited hydroplanes. You can do Hydroplane Racing League, GP America. Then there's websites where you can HRLhydroplane.com, GP Grand Prix America.com. So yeah, you can see some of the teams that are on there, where they're from, what the schedule is. There's tons of information. Where you can even be part of a team or a series. It's pretty easy access.
That's amazing. And do you guys are you selling swag yet, Mike? So we can like get a Mike Movinsky hat or something at least.
Yeah, we got them in production. I got some stuff already made, but yeah, I'm kind of treating it like our dirt late model racing. Where we'd have a vendor trailer and merchandise for sale.
Oh well, you let me know when you got a double X in size, and I'm buying the first one. So,
all right, deal.
All right, guys, that's great. And then, Mike, I forgot you were a dirt track driver too, and so tell us real quick about that before we shift to our next guest.
No, I moved to Mooresville, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I had some smaller boats. And my friends at the time, I didn't know they were in NASCAR or anything. They saw the boat and they knew I was probably gullible, and they were like, "Man, dirt track cars turn like hydroplanes. Why don't you get involved?" So I made a knee-jerk reaction and bought 3 brand new rockets. My first test was years ago at Gaffney Speedway, South Carolina.
There you go.
First 2 laps, I put 2 cars into the wall. And I learned that on those cars, there's not 4 shocks, there's 5 shocks. I forgot to mount the center shock. So I learned, but we do pretty good. I don't run the series. I just show up at some of the bigger purses.
Sure. And
we do a lot of the crate racing for fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, next time we're on the phone, we'll talk about that. So listen.
All right. Yep. No problem.
And listen, guys, thanks for being on the show. I truly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming season, and,
Yep.
Be safe. Okay.
Yep. Same to you, sir.
All right, guys. And
Thanks
ladies,
for having us.
yep, my pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Movinsky and Bert Henderson. Please check out their website. I know they're on Facebook. It's Mike Movinsky Racing. Just great guy. So excited to have them as part of our family. With that, we have our next guest up. It's Billy Greenhill, owner of Greenhill Electric. Lives in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and he is a sponsor of JD's Carolina Outlaw Super Street Series, COSSS. And he's just a great man. I talked to him yesterday. He was out fishing, so we're also going to ask him how he did on his fishing expedition. So, Billy, how you doing, my man?
Oh man, recuperating from the trip.
No, listen, you and your buddy were out fishing, and I was slugging it with all this terrible weather we're having up here in New York. But you said the weather picked up. I heard you got 30, 40 knots of wind at one point.
Yep. It was cool in the morning, nice and calm, slick water, and then all of a sudden it picked up blowing this front, and I reckon you're getting some of that weather up north now, and made it pretty choppy.
Oh, I bet, because you're like on a bass boat kind of thing, right? Like it's you're not like on my sailboat.
Yeah, we caught a few, but after we had 3-foot whitecaps, it's kind of hard to catch anything.
I know. Well, that's because we were joking about it on the phone, and I think I must have brought it down on you.
I believe you did.
Well, just blame the Yankees.
Yeah. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, blame the Yankees. That works. Hey, but did you catch anything at least?
Yeah, we caught a few bass. Nothing really is worth keeping, but it's better than sitting at the house during the winter months.
Listen, a bad day on the water is better than than any other thing, right?
Exactly.
So, but let's talk about racing. So, I know you're in JD's series. So, tell us how that's going.
Well, he started last year, and he done pretty good. Need a little bit of help, so I've jumped on board with him this year financially and helping him out a little bit. And we're going to see how things go and try some different stuff. Hopefully this series is going to last for a long time. The tracks have really cut back on a lot of the classes that they're running, and these guys have got a lot of money tied up in these cars, and we don't see anybody, lose that and not have a place to race. So it was really good for JD to, step up last year on his own and try to make something happen, and it's pretty much worked out pretty good for him.
Well, I think that one thing that's really important for everyone to remember is that he basically saved a type of racing series. I mean, if and I know that he's a humble guy, but if not for JD Gunther, this wouldn't be going on. Yeah,
because the super streets have been around this part of Carolinas for 20 plus years. That's where I first started out at, and it was just a staple. Usually you start out in pure stock or super street, and you just moved yourself on up, if you decided to do that. So to hear the track cut back and, not want to run this series, or not series, but this division, let these guys were nowhere to run.
Yeah, which is really a tragedy. And I think that's the part where, I know that, the team down at Racing for Heroes, is super into this. And, I think that when you look at racing series, there's always a series for you. And that's where I feel like the Super Street Series is like a good, and listen, if it's an entry point, that's great, and you move up. But, I think there's people that want to do that type of racing, for their entire racing career too.
Oh, of course. Like I said, that's where I started out, and that's where like Jerry Johnson. He's been in it for 30 years probably in the Super Street Series, on and off. So it's something that most drivers come back to every now and then, and once they get fit, it's like the late models. Okay, they done away with late model weekly racing at our home track here years ago, and now they've brought it back. And for a while, nobody had anything that they could go out and race on a weekly show at their track.
Yeah.
So Larry Lee and myself and Danny Powell started Carolina Clash, and that started up and went crazy. And we traveled with it till I quit. And so hopefully this is going to be something that JD can look forward to, several years. And these guys will have a place to race, and these tracks will pick up more tracks. We're pretty good right now, got a lot of dates, and hopefully we can pick up some more.
Yeah, and when does the season start? I meant to ask JD that. I can't remember when the first race is.
Middle of March. I haven't even seen yet, so I couldn't tell you what date, but I think it's the middle of March.
Gotcha. All right, and then let's talk about your racing though. So you do own Greenhill Electric, right? And that's based out of Fayetteville, and you're the primary sponsor, obviously, and owner of that. And Greenhill Electric's been around a little while, right?
1966, my father started. I went in business on my own for 20 some odd years, and he passed away. So now I've taken over the actual family name and changed it back to Greenhill Electric. And we travel all over the country doing electrical work, pretty much some specialized commercial stuff. But that's pretty much where we're at. And I'm on the road all the time, so my racing's really been limited for the last 10 or 15 years.
Sure.
But in it. I still got a super late model. Got a Super Street also that I raced last year.
Oh, neat.
Sold it. I mean, we still got one, and I'm helping a guy out, maybe a couple guys out, trying to help them as much as I can and get back into it a little bit more, trying to slow down and stay home more.
You're never going to slow down. You know that, Billy, right?
I know. Age will get slowed down.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Hey, so, but who are you sponsoring? Who's your drivers right now? Who you got out there?
Of course, myself, and I've got another gentleman, Daniel Johnson, and got another guy who's got some posts on Facebook. Don't want to mention his name now, but I'm probably going to put my name on the side of his car. But don't want to get too involved in the series that I'm going to be sponsoring.
Sure.
Then I don't want any favoritism. I want the guys to feel, they can come and race with the series, and everybody's going to be treated the same. If there's a decision made or a rule that's
good point.
Everybody's going to be on the same playing field.
No, and I will say this because I was looking through the rule list that JD's got posted on Facebook for the class, and it's pretty level. Like at the end of the day, like that class is a pretty level class, and I think
it is. It made a few changes. Some tire rules. I mean, because tires are going crazy this year. The cost is not coming down. Everybody's getting paid pretty much the same purse they've been paying out for 20 odd years, but the costs are going sky high.
Yeah.
So trying to make it as reasonable as possible for, the racers' pocketbook, and, so they can still go out and get some type of sponsorship and, be able to race.
Oh, for sure. And I think that, and that is a major goal, I think, of JD. And, I think you're right. I think you'll see that within the tracks that are opening up for Super Street, because it is going to be a reasonable entry point for folks, especially as we kind of claw out of the recession we're going through with the pandemic.
Oh yeah. And, we were really hurt here in this part of the country. The tracks were shut down, and, so they're opening back up now, and everybody's pretty much open. So hopefully the fan base will be there this year. A little bit stronger, and because these guys bring a lot of people out with them, 10, 15 people come out with each car, that's pretty good. That's pretty good money for the promoter of the track, you know?
Oh, it is. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you.
I said, he's getting his money back for us, being there and putting on the show for him. So as long as we can make it profitable for him, hopefully we can make this grow and, like I said, be a little bit better series.
Gotcha. We'll get into the last couple of minutes of the show. I thought I'd ask a question. We didn't brief this, but what was your favorite racing day ever, or one of the top 10 ones? How's that?
Probably my favorite racing day is being around Jimmy, Mr. Jimmy Edwards Sr. and Hank Edwards. They were very instrumental back in my early days, and one of my best people in racing would probably been Big John Fisher. Just being around those three people, learning a lot, and they were pretty instrumental.
Yeah, and that was your early days, right? So you're talking like the 70s?
No, man. No, come on now. back in the late 80s, early 90s.
All right, so you weren't wearing a leather helmet, right? That's just important.
No.
I'm just busting your chops, man. That's right, driving like 77 Cougars, driving around the track.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I love it. And all right, so and then Greenhill Electric, just a little shout out. If someone's interested in commercial electricity, you guys can do it all over the country, right?
Yeah, pretty much what we do is we do the HVLS fans in the large commercial buildings. These are the big overhead fans like you see in Walmart garden centers and places like that. So that's predominantly what we do. And we travel all over the country. Matter of fact, we'll be up in Pennsylvania in a couple weeks, and then back down in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow.
We're everywhere.
Well, because the guys on after me is the Builders Institute, so that was a little plug in them, kind of giving Jeff Hanley a wave, like, there you go, man. Like, you talk to Billy Greenhill. But
yeah, man.
Yeah. So no, that's exciting. Well, listen, I really appreciate you being on the show, and I look forward to catching up with you in Fayetteville. I should be down at the races when they start up again here in the fall, in the spring, rather.
Okay, man, give us a call. That way we can run security for you, because you know how you Yankees are coming down 95.
That's right. That's right. It's actually the tough thing for me is, my car has like New York plates, and when I'm driving around Alton, Virginia, like I'm like, someone is going to eventually pull me over because I have these Yankee plates on.
Well, the North Carolina Highway Patrol Association is one of my sponsors, so let me know when you cross the line. And I'll get you an escort.
I'll call. Do you know Billy Greenhill? You gotta call him. He'll take care of you. Anyway, but listen, thanks, Billy. I really appreciate you being on the show, and I hope to see you soon.
All right, man. Have a good day.
All right, out here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Billy Greenhill of Greenhill Electric, a sponsor of JD Gunther's Calendar Outlaw Super Street Series. And then as we get into the last minute of the show, I would ask everyone who's interested out there, please check out Racing for Heroes' website, www.racingforheroes.org. We've got a bunch of new sponsors coming up. We're going to have one of them next week. And then, so write this down. It's Ryco.co. And it is, I'm sorry, rhino.co, ryno.co. That's the website. And if you go there, you'll see one of our new sponsors in Dream Car Garage. We're going to be working with them as well. It's going to be amazing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. And then this week coming up, I will be down working with the rest of the guys down and gals down at Race for Heroes headquarters, working on some of the cars, getting ready for the upcoming season. And with that, we'll leave you with the real Doug Lane for a little further down the road. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next week. I got a dream to chase, and it just won't wane. It's just a little farther